My name is Inna. I am a display and video specialist for emerging markets. And also today with us, Evelina. She's also a display and video specialist for emerging markets clients.
Hi, everyone.
So today's session, like a bit, intro. So this is more to the second session after first session that you might hear about DemandGen. So it's more focused on clients whose goals are either online sales, subscriptions, like more lower funnel sales that they want to reach with DemandGen. So a quick reminder, what is DemandGen? This is our AI-powered campaign type that's spread across 5 surfaces. Google owned 5 surfaces. First is YouTube Shorts. Then we have in-stream video ads, also YouTube feeds, and feeds in a Discover app of Google browser. And also we have ads in Gmail. The main unique features are that we're talking about premium inventory. By premium here, we mean that it's Google owned, we know our audience, we understand our platforms better. Also, this is a combination of video and image ads, improved user experience when you create campaigns. Only this campaign type has lookalikes audiences. Also, the changes to a bid strategy. You can choose either conversions, or you can also click. You can also bid on clicks. Improved reporting and creative preferences. You can choose which creative you will serve on different platforms. So this is another overview. Let's jump right into details. So when you hear about this product, of course, you think about like, how to launch it successfully. This is new for you, maybe, and type of demand of campaign. So we say, like, especially for performance-oriented clients, it's really important to test and learn, to launch it, and then to test different approaches what works best for you, for your goals, and then optimize performance. So today's session, we will focus on this main 2 topics. First, like what is this key elements to launch a successful campaign, like the setup that you have to think about when you're launching it. And then also very important part is how to optimize the performance. So yeah, let's dive into the launch process. There are main 3 elements when we talk about the best performance for DemandGen campaigns. First, of course, it's very important the campaign structure. How many campaigns do you have in your account? How to divide them, how to segment them, how to aggregate them. What, like, add groups inside of the campaign, how to aggregate them as well, and what audience do you use. This is very important because this campaign type, when we think about, when we compare it with other campaigns such as like search or PMAX, here we can target audiences. There's more features in the audience targeting opposed to other types of the campaign. The second thing is creatives. This is a visual campaign type, so it's important. The creatives is like 50% of 60% of the success for these campaign types. So it should be audience first creatives. You should think about your audience, who your audience, and then tailor creatives to your audiences. Also, it's important that you have all the ratios because this is a AI campaign. Yeah, it use AI to build different type of the creatives. Then the third component is about balancing AI bidding strategy, and also there should be a balance where you should the system, you let the system to optimize for you to your manual changes to the campaign. So let's dive into these three elements. First, we have campaign structure. And here, what's important is like first, where to start. So we suggest to start about your audience, like who your audience, like for you to dig deep. Who are these people who are most likely to buy your product? We have different audience signals such as demographics, age, languages, even different locations. So you can target countries, you can target even some states and cities in some countries. Also, of course, different interests and different searches. And when you have this image, like this portrait of your audience, you then can take a look what audience signals you can use to create your core audience profile. We have different type of audience signals. We have Google audiences that are built by Google, predefined by Google. There's affinity audiences, in market audiences, detailed demographic segments, and live event segments. Also, there are custom segments that build on keywords that you provide, websites, apps that you provide, that you know that your audience or the people that you want to target will use or visit. Then you can provide your audience like customer match. You can download emails and telephones on your users in the hashed form, and then target them. Also, you can use your audience, your YouTube followers, app users, and site visitors. And the last not least, we have lookalike segments that are built on your audience. And this is a new powerful solution only available for DemandGen campaigns. And it allows you to use a variety of your seed lists to fuel your segment. You can combine up to 10 different seed lists in one segment. And then you can adjust the similarity of this segment from narrow to broad. So all these signals, as you can see, there are like different type of signals. We recommend also when you choose your core audience profile, we recommend to amplify all of this with optimized targeting, because that way you will allow your system to use artificial intelligence also to optimize towards your conversion, which is the main goal in performance-related campaigns. Also, we suggest to adopt an always-on testing and optimization approach. So, for example, first you set your core audience profile with some in-market audience, with some lookalike segments, and some custom intent audience. And then you launch a campaign, and then some after learning periods, after 2 or 4 weeks, you see that some segments working better, some segments not the best one. So you can pause and the segments that are low performing and add new ones. So my colleague Evelina will talk more about that approach later on today. Okay. So this how audience funnel and combination of tailored creative looks like. So on the left side, we have a product as Pilates, as we can do it for either male or female. We can choose different ages and different interests. So like think about who your audience, how you can divide them. It also can be geographical based because the performance in different geographies varies for you. Also different gender and age group. Then when you have your audience, you know who your audience, we have also additional feature for DemandGen campaigns that you can both use image and video in this campaign. So that makes it three different options for you. So the first option, which is recommended, especially when this is your first DemandGen campaign, you have never tested visual campaigns before. I mean, discovery campaigns or display campaigns. So the campaign that's recommended when you just first launch is a combination of video and image campaign. When you have video and image ads in one campaign. Then the second option, you can launch video on campaign. That way, like it means that in your campaign, there will be only video ads. And the same goes for image campaign. There will be only image ads in your campaign. So the main benefit, so the main thing here to think, if you already have a legacy of discovery campaigns and you know how visual images works for you, we can see sometimes that it's more predictable to launch image only campaign. You understand the performance better, like what's the target CPA should be. So that makes sense in that way. But we also encourage you to test video ads and to test combination of different video and images. That way to give the system more different type of assets to choose and to optimize towards your goals. So then after you have your audience, you aligned with your setup, you can also build different setup based on ad groups. So the main here is to think about your goal. So it's very important to aggregate campaigns based on your goal. If you have one goal, like online sales on your site or like subscription on your site, like we recommend to have one campaign for one audience funnel. Yeah, so it's very important to think about your business goals and to build campaigns according to that. We do not recommend to over-segment campaigns. We recommend to aggregate them. That way, system will have more data to learn and to optimize performance and to get the best results for you. And our AI learns on the ad group level. So it's also very important not to over segment your ad groups. Then let's talk about creatives. As I said in the beginning of the session, this is visual format. DemandGen is a visual format, so it's very important to have tailored creatives for your campaigns and for your audience fun. First of all, it's important to use all creative features, to use all ratios that you can have. So this is the assets that need for image campaigns. So you just input like several assets. So you can see that in the interface how many you need. Like we recommend at least 3 landscape images, 3 square images, and 3 portrait images. and 1 square logo. So it's not a lot, but after you upload all of this, you will have 50 plus asset combinations with different texts that you also provide. And Google will use machine learning that will combine all these different combinations of visual ads. So it's important to provide all the minimal assets that's required. And the same goes for video campaigns. Here, we ask you to provide at least 1 portrait, 1 square, 1 landscape. As you saw also in the beginning, we have 5 platforms. So it's important to adapt this creative for different platforms. For example, portrait videos are crucial for YouTube Shorts. Landscapes are crucial for in-stream because even in mobile phone, the behavior of the users, they watch the videos in a horizontal view. And Square, they can serve on all services, but they're also good for in-feed campaigns. And the same goes for image. Google will use combination of different videos, and also it will look at the different surfaces and optimize your ad according to that. And if you don't provide portrait vertical videos, you lose your chances to serve on YouTube Shorts. Another thing that keep in mind, which also connected with providing all the asset types, as I described in previous slides, is the ad strengths. So we have like when you create an ad, the interface will show you the strengths of your ad. So we propose to aim for the excellent ad strengths, the best ad strengths. So the ad strengths show you how well an ad creative follows best practices for optimal performance. So the main thing here is that it influences the auction. The higher ad strengths, the better your chances at the auction will be. And also this, like by providing all of the assets, you improve your chances to be shown like as many combinations and as many platforms there can be. So in the interface, you will see the actual step that you need to provide. Like it can be more images, it can be more descriptions, more texts. So there will be the specific next step in the interface, which is very convenient. Then another thing that to think of when you have a video creative, that now we have in the general availability the feature that called creative preferences. What does this mean? So when you have a video, here you can see the vertical video with the woman with the flower. So you can choose where to show this video, what's the preference for this video. And I mean, it makes sense to put shorts because it's a vertical video. There is one thing that you need to know, that you can't, put all the videos to shorts. There should be at least one video that prefers to all of the formats. But all like other 4 can be to shorts or to in-stream, like or to in-feed, like whatever you feel this creative will be served better. So when you create an ad, our recommendation here is to have one ad, one creative concept with multiple assets. As you seen on previous slides, when you create an ad, we ask for a lot of assets, but this doesn't mean that it should be, one image of one concept, another image of another concept. No, we mean here by different images, we mean that it should be like different ratios, like slightly different images, maybe like one color is different or like a bit like something. Some elements can be different, but the overall concept should be the same. This is our recommendation. It's the same for video and for images. So we encourage different ratios, a bit different elements, but the same creative concept. Like here we have like one constant for home Pilates training and different like concept for street Pilates. Or it can be like home Pilates with people, or like home Pilates images without people. So like, I mean, it depends on your creative concept. Also, it's important to test different creatives. Then another thing like to think about is about creative burnout. So this is a visual format, so it's important to think about like your process of creative production, how you produce your creative and how you test them. So you should think about the performance against the creative burnout into indicators such as CPA dynamic, that it goes higher and higher like through some time. Of course, when you just launch campaign, it's important to give the system time to learn, 4 weeks, and then take a look at the performance. And all other metrics that's important for you, it's also important to look at on the creative level as well. What you can do when you see this trend, you can iterate some of your top performing assets. You can change background, color, contact. You can add like a bit different theme, a category. Like there's like a lot of different like the small changes that you can do. Also for video, you can test different video lengths from 10 seconds, 15 to 30 seconds. And we have exciting news. We can also have now AI image editing inside our interface. So you can do it either in the asset library or in the campaign construction. Here is the instruction how to do it. So basically you will see a button with add with AI. So that's how you can test this feature. And we encourage you to do so. So that's it for the part of campaign structure and for the creatives. And now I hand over to my colleague Evelina that will talk about bits and budgets.
Hi, everyone, once again. And thank you very much, Ina, for covering two very crucial parts. We're moving to the third part, which is same crucial as to other parts. And we're going to talk about bids and budgets and how to leverage them in terms of the campaigns of DemandGen that you will launch in the future. So technically, what we have here to offer, what the format has to offer, is three types of different biddings. So the first one is maximize clicks bidding, that technically optimizes towards the traffic to your website. So if you're promoting a new product and you want as many people as possible to get to know about your product, you can just simply choose this option, and all the people who see your ads will be directed to your website in order to gain as much website traffic as possible. The advantage here is that there is no conversion tracking required, so you technically don't need to implement absolutely anything to start using it. You're just good to go if you have a landing page and everything that Ina mentioned before about creatives and audience structures. It's absolutely compatible with image and video ads, but you are also free to run video-only campaign. This is not the best practice, but in some cases, this might be necessary for you just to have a video-only campaign, and this type of bidding will be compatible with both. The second type is conversion-based bidding. probably the most popular one and very similar to one of our well-known formats, which is video action campaigns. Here, the format has to offer two types of bidding. First is target CPA, and the second one is maximize conversions. Some advertisers that were using our AI-powered bidding before might be very familiar with these two types of bidding, but technically it's recommended to use when you want to just bid towards your goals. You already know them, they're very well defined. It could be online sales, it could be any type of action you're just want to be towards. So it's totally fine, and you're free to use this with the demand gen campaign. And the third type is a value-based bidding, which includes target rows and maximize conversion bidding. So it represents a little bit higher conversion values overall, and it's more important for your business when it comes to bidding towards something that you can set a value for. So this is also totally compatible with demand gen. So feel free to choose among these three types of bidding, depending on what you want to bid towards, depending on the goal of your product, of a goal of your launch. When it comes to minimum requirements and recommendations of your daily budgets, this is what our recommendation is. So if you're using the TCP strategy, and if you are an advertiser that is already well aware what your conversion cost is, how many conversions a day you used to get from other formats. So if you're pretty sure, feel free to start from target CPA strategy. You will just be bidding towards this conversion, having a cost per conversion set at the campaign and net group level. So technically, we recommend your daily budget to be 15 times more than your expected CPA. This is needed in terms of the system to have an ability to get as much data as possible. So if you don't have a sufficient budget, that probably won't be enough for the system to bring as much information as needed. If you're bidding with the maximized conversions, then your daily budget should be set 10 times more than your average CPA, just because this type of bidding is more flexible in terms of cost of conversion. It's not restricted. It doesn't have a strict goal in terms of the cost. So it can definitely bring you conversions of different costs. It can be very low, can be very big, but the main goal here is just to bring you as many conversions as possible for the given budget and for the chosen period. So technically, if you're not sure about your target CPA, if you've never used, for example, video action campaigns or demand gen campaigns, you're just not sure about your CPA, feel free to start from maximize conversions bidding. And once your campaign accumulates around 50 conversions or so, we will talk about it a little bit later as well, and how to evaluate when it's enough or not. But once it reaches the point that allows you to switch to another type of bidding, then we recommend moving from maximize conversions to target CPA. Again, what's important, it's not a mandatory. If you feel like your campaign is perfectly performing using maximize conversions bidding, just leave it as it is. Don't do anything until the point when you understand that you want to make it work a little bit differently, or you want to try, test, and learn. Maximize clicks bidding, which is more like a mid-funnel type of bidding. Again, no requirements for minimum budget. You can set a minimum that you can allow for yourself. No conversion need to be selected at the campaign level. So the campaign is technically just optimizing towards your website traffic. No minimum requirements. You're good to go if you just have creatives and if you've chosen this type of bidding. We're moving to the learning period. So the important thing about this type of campaigns, which is demand gen, is to plan for the learning period. That technically means that it might need some time for the campaign to ramp up. So approximately what we see on average is around it's around 10 to 14 days for the campaign to fully ramp up. And when you think of your launch, you need to plan ahead. So keep in mind that once you launch your campaign, it must have sufficient time for learning period, which is in our case around 2 weeks. Then we recommend pull in some campaign recommendations and optimizations that you will do throughout your campaign. Then you implement the recommendations. You then just do all of these things again. You just give campaign some time to learn, then you evaluate your results, then you make some changes. This is ongoing process of optimization. And also keep in mind that in absolutely any campaign, there will be a conversion lag time. It depends from one advertiser to another on how many days it might take. For some advertisers, it's 7 days. For some of them, it's 15. Whatever works for your business best. A couple of helpful tips here when you plan for the learning period. Absolutely keep in mind your main primary goal. So if you're bidding towards sales, keep in mind conversion lag time when you evaluate results. And overall, if you're like, for example, bidding for website traffic, probably you don't need to keep in mind conversion lag. So always align your goal with the learning period that you're planning to use. We also recommend to have a consolidated campaign structure for effective learning because the campaign must have sufficient data, and campaign is usually optimizes itself on the ad group level. So don't make it too spreaded. Don't make 1,000 different ad groups until you have a need for that. So the more consolidated your campaign is, the better. We also recommend not to make very big changes on your bid to avoid performance volatility. It usually doesn't work very well when you make huge changes. For example, you just cut your budget like 50% or something. It might significantly affect your performance negatively. Always conduct campaign optimization recommendations and audits. So we recommend doing it on a bi-weekly basis. So if you're able to do it more frequently, that's even better. But the more insights you get throughout your campaign, the more successful your campaign is going to be. So you shouldn't leave it working on itself for a very long time without making any observations or changes. So that's a type of campaign that you need to keep track of, probably as all other types of campaign, but especially during the learning period, it's very important. Um, and we are moving to smart bidding. So overall, smart bidding is a big factor when it comes to bidding in demand gen campaigns. And your smart bidding is in shape when you follow at least three pillars that I put here on the slide. So first is your smart bidding is in shape when your campaign has no over segmentation. So demand campaigns and smart bidding that is actively participates in optimization of your performance of your campaign is focuses on an ad group level. So it's very important that we manage to get at least 50 conversions per ad group per week. So once we have this number, we can clearly see that the data is sufficient and it's valid to make any decisions based on this data. So if your campaign is very spread, and if, for example, you get 4 conversions per week from one ad group, this is probably not that good, and you need to consolidate your ad groups in order to help smart bidding work much better and get you at least 50 conversions per week. But it also depends on the type of your conversion. Your smart bidding is also in shape when you avoid frequent changes. I talked about it just now, but you should limit bid changes to only plus or minus 30% per week and just wait between the changes. So don't make any changes after you make your budget smaller or you raise your budget. Just give it some time because the system goes to learn again. So it's very important. And if you want to make multiple changes into your campaign, like big changes, for example, bid strategy and your daily budget, if it's possible, try doing it at once because the less changes you make, the better campaign feels itself. So it helps to reduce the learning phase. Your smart bidding is in shape when you also keep in mind the conversion window. So this delay can cause a lot of decisions that are usually made very quickly when you see that your performance is getting lower, your conversion cost is getting higher. But sometimes many advertisers just don't keep in mind that there is a conversion lag. So if you can, as you can see on the screen, for example, once your CPA is like growing, many advertisers would just lower it. But in fact, you don't necessarily need to do that because there is a conversion lag, and the system will understand it with it some time and start optimizing towards lower CPA. So just keep this in mind, dependent on what your conversion lag is. A little bit of FAQs. So many questions we get about smart bidding overall. So the first thing is what to do if my campaign is limited by budget. So the first thing you can do is just to opt into a different bidding strategy. For example, if your strategy is very narrow, like ROAS or maximize conversion value or CPA, you can just simply switch to maximize conversions to help your campaign leverage budget until you're no longer constrained, or you can switch to a lower CPA or higher ROAS, so you can narrow it a little bit to more effectively utilize the budget. So you choose in between. You either raise and switch the strategy, or you lower your CPAs and raise your ROAS to help the system work better. Sometimes many advertisers see they that their CPA and overall results are getting worse after they optimize targeting, which is an amazing feature in DemandGen, but there is no any reason to panic. Sometimes your campaign might struggle and have performance fluctuations once you opt into optimized targeting, but this is usually happens just because your campaign becomes eligible for a significant number of new impressions because you start entering new auctions. And your campaign is just getting data. You don't need to do anything. You just need to wait. At least 7 days would be like a normal period for you to wait and see and evaluate results of optimized targeting. But usually, what we see in practice, it always works good in all the cases when it's recommended to use the optimized targeting until you wait um, for a little bit of time. Can I unpause my creatives? Yes, you definitely can. We recommend relaunch post creatives rather than uploading new creatives, just because we can use the old history of your post creatives. If you post them for some reason back in the day and you want to use them again, yes, you can do that. So instead of uploading an absolutely same creative, just use the old one. This will be much better. I want to move from maximize conversions to target CPA. You're free to do that after your campaign has sufficient data. Technically, this is pretty easy. Once you have a sufficient number of conversions, you're free to move to another bidding type. So first, select your target CPA based on the achieved CPA for the last 30 days when considering conversion lag, and move to target CPA or ROAS when you're driving at least 50 conversions per net group. If you're not driving 50 conversions per net group per week, that means your campaign must be consolidated. So you should have less ad groups, you should have maybe different creatives based on what you see inside of your campaign. But the most important thing is only when you have sufficient data, you can move to another bidding, a more narrow bidding, which is target CPA, ROAS, or maximize conversion value. I have low conversion volume. That's technically the issue that can happen when you want to move to a different bidding strategy. So how to raise your conversion volume? First, you can consider bidding towards the lighter version. But sometimes it's just not a good option for advertisers who want to drive sales. But you can also consider adjusting your conversion windows. Make sure to leverage our AI-based solution that's called optimized targeting, that usually allows the system to get many conversions. And also you can consider increasing your bid if that's possible. That can also help you to get a higher conversion volume. We're moving on to the next steps. So after we've just talked about audience strategy, about best practices for creatives, image and videos, and about bidding. You're free to create your new next demand gen campaign. So first, as we talked before, you create campaign with defined audience strategy based on the audience portrait. Then you put the creatives that you've made for demand gen campaign using the image, using all the ratios, all the aspects. Then you upload the videos and you set up the bidding based on your goal. And this is pretty much it. We're moving to the second part of the presentation, which is fully dedicated to how to optimize campaigns. So, when it comes to optimization, the optimizations of the campaign can be done at absolutely each level. For the campaign and ad group, you can easily make changes into audience, you can make changes into bid targets, and for the campaign, at the campaign level, you can change the daily budget. You can also leverage some of the recommendations given before about ads and assets. Since you know all the ratios, all the requirements, you can make changes at the ads and assets level as well. So feel free to leverage all of this information given before for making changes at all of these levels from the optimization step. So before we make any optimization, we don't make any optimization just like that, just because we think that is needed. First, we do assessment always for any type of campaign, whatever it's demand gen or something different. It does not matter. You should assess before you do anything. So you identify your gaps. You identify if something's missing. You identify if your campaign is struggling, whether you have fluctuations or not, and only then you draw a scenario that helps you to optimize your campaign. You ask yourself a question: is my budget and bid okay? Is it in line with the best practices? Is it in line with what I think I can do? You ask yourself as well, what can I do with my assets? Am I missing something? Is there anything I can improve? Overall, just what else can I do to help my campaign feel better? Maybe I can use a smart bidding in a little bit of a different way. Maybe I can make some changes into a campaign structure. So after you draw this scenario, you implement this into your campaign. You give it some time, from 10 to 14 days, just to get some data, just to relearn, just to optimize, and then you evaluate your campaign again. And if it's necessary, if you feel like you're missing something, you're not very happy with what you're getting, you're going back to the step one to assess performance. So this is the basic framework that we recommend on using when it comes to making optimizations of your demand gen campaign. We talked previously about performance fluctuation, and technically, performance fluctuation is a lack of stability when your campaign does not show stable results, which is hitting your daily budget and CPAs. So stability, when campaign is feeling good and it's stable, we see it when our CPA fluctuations are within 20%. So it can be lower on some days it can be higher. It's absolutely normal dynamic. So campaign is stable when you don't have any volume fluctuations. So for example, it's not like you get one conversion on one day and you get 20 conversions on another day, and then you get two conversions on the second day. So if you see this type of dynamic, that's probably not okay. Probably there is something needs to be done. And your campaign is feeling fine when you consistently meeting or exceeding your daily budget. So as you can see on the screenshot, this campaign, this is just an example. This campaign has a lot of fluctuations. So you can see the numbers are pretty high at the beginning. Then it's kind of like a little bit better. Then it goes high again. We're just looking at this from the CPA perspective. So this campaign is struggling and something needs to be done. So if you see big fluctuations, if it's not stable, if it's not meeting the daily budget or it's not exceeding, then something needs to be done. And what needs to be done is exactly the steps that we've just talked about optimization. So how do we recommend to optimize creative? So first of all, you can dive a little bit deeper on your campaign level to assess the performance by making these three simple steps. First, have a look at the data on a more granular level. You are able to see the performance for each type of inventory within your campaign. You can see how skippable and stream performs. You can see how in-feed performs. You can also see how shorts performs. So we recommend evaluating all of these three types of inventory just to see if you can get any insights. Maybe, for example, in your particular case, shorts will be performing perfectly, and you want to make it more impactful. So just gather these insights. Then you can also segment performance at the campaign, ad group, ad, and video levels. So you can evaluate performance based on the audiences, based on the inventory type, based on the creatives that you have. So like all of the slices are available to you in your Google Ads interface. And also you can leverage learnings to drive further experimentation. So that's technically something that you're gathering at the step 1 and 2 in order to take it and just use it for making any optimization or drawing scenarios for potential tests in the future. So how we optimize creatives. So for example, at your Google Ads interface, you just go to your campaign and then you just quickly go to ad group level. And at the ad group level, you will be able to see a section saying ads. So once you click into ads, you will be able to see the performance of your ads overall in total. And there you can make different adjustments. You can see cost, you can see conversion, you can see clicks, whatever metric you think is necessary for you to evaluate. And this is exactly how you check the fluctuations. I usually recommend having two different dimensions, which is first cost, that helps me to understand if my campaign is hitting the daily budget, over exceeding, underperforming, whatever. And the second one is conversions. So that technically shows you data for the conversion that you've chosen at the stage of creating your campaign. So this is how I can understand whether my campaign is performing well or it's underperforming and I'm struggling by having huge fluctuation. So at the ad group level, you're able to see the inventory types. So you can see in-feed inventory, shorts inventory, in-stream inventory, dependent on where the ad was shown. You're also able to see the ad strength, where we always recommend aiming for excellent, but sometimes it might just not happen. Try to make it excellent, but if not, just leverage the insights that you can get from other columns and rows here at this type of view. You also see cost per conversion here. You can see conversion rate. The most important thing to pay attention here is definitely types of inventory, your ad strength, and cost for conversion. Once you're able to evaluate this, you are able to make a decision about whether you should keep this ad or not. Sometimes there might be need for you just to run video only campaigns, and then the assessment becomes a little bit easier because you don't need to make different steps to see the data for ads. You just simply navigate to your particular campaign, and then you just go to the asset level. So you click assets, then you go to videos, and you will be able to see all the data for all the videos that you have in your campaign. This is a little bit easier when you have just one type of creatives within your campaign. It might happen. How to optimize audiences. So when we want to see the data breakdown from the audience perspective, we do absolutely the same thing as we did with that we did previously. So we just go at the campaign, then we see the campaign menu. On the left side, you will be able to see the row audiences, and you navigate there. You will be able to see a graph that will also show you a small button saying show table. And you will be able to see the data drop down of all the segments that you're using within your campaign. And you will be able to see numbers for absolutely all the segments that you're using. So if you're using different in market segments and affinity segments, you'll be able to see them all and how each of them is performing in particular. So leverage this to get some insights, filter low performing audiences, and just take the insights from the next slide to use them for optimization. So once you see this view, you see the audience segment name, you see the audience segment type, and you see the costs, conversions, and cost per conversions. You are able to make a conclusion which type of segments are not performing that well. So if you see that the cost per conversion is too high for some of the segments, you can just pause them. You don't have to keep using them. So just go to your campaign level, to your ad group level, and pause them. But keep using the ones that are showing good results. So first of all, you can keep them in your current campaigns, and you can also take this information as an insight for your next launch, for your other campaigns, or just for your optimization. So this is how you can see on the audience level which audience is performing much better. So we evaluate assets, we evaluate audiences, we combine this data, we make a decision for optimizations, we implement this into our campaign, we wait approximately 10 to 14 days, and then we do everything from the beginning. Also, one more important type of report that might be very helpful for you. This is the report that is called Audience Segments Performance Assessment. So technically, you just go to the to your DemandGen campaign. You navigate to Report Editor, and you choose a performance summary report that is called Audiences. So after you have chosen this report, you will be able to now see all the data for your campaigns. So you'll be able to see cost, audience segments, conversions, cost per conversions, set the filter that the cost should be more than 1 cent, and then just save your report. This will help you to leverage the data that is gathered on the account level, which type of segments are working much better for all of your campaigns. You can take these insights and just use them in your current campaigns, or just use them for making a scenario, draft a plan for your next DemandGen campaigns. And I think that this is pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for being with us today. We're very glad and excited to be telling this session to you. We hope that all of the insights that we shared with you today, you'll be able to leverage within your next successful launches.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining, and have a lovely day. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.